Hey everybody, Steve with Spectrum Sports Performance, coming back at you, jumping back into our rotational stability blog. I think this is entry number 3, and so far we've talked about isometric stability and a little bit of strength on rotational movements. We did rotations, chops, and lifts with the band. And then we went to anti-rotation, talking about stabilizing through here while my extremities are trying to go ahead and rotate, but we're not allowing them to rotate. So we talked about those two things. So now let's take the concept of rotational stability and address it to a strength workout, actually like lifting weights. So we want to apply strength to the rotational stability. Really what we're working on is anti-rotation again, but with strength lifts. Because most strength lifts, if you think about like a bench press or a squat, it's 2-arm bench press, it's 2-leg squat, 2-leg deadlift, whatever it is. So when I use one extremity and do things unilateral, now we're definitely addressing that rotational stability. So once again, so much of training is bilateral, very little bit of training is unilateral. So we're going to focus on unilateral work and how it addresses rotational stability and how it helps improve it, all right? So we're going to think about 4 different movements: upper pressing, like bench press, upper pulling, like rows, lower pressing, like squats, and lower pulling, like a deadlift or an RDL. We're going to talk about all 4 of those things, addressing rotational stability with all 4 of them. So I'm going to bring in Angel real quick. We're going to go ahead and talk about bench pressing. We're going to do a 1-arm bench press, which you guys have probably done before, seen before, whatever. We'll talk about how we should address that, thinking about rotational stability. So he'll take his dumbbell, he'll lay down on the bench, he'll make sure he's got all his points of contact, feet on the ground, glutes on the ground, glutes on the bench, shoulder blades on the bench, and then this low back nice and tight. So he's sucking that in tight the whole time he's doing this. So one of the keys we'll look at is this shoulder, right? The one he's not using to press with. When he brings his dumbbell down, I want to keep that tight to the bench and keep this flat. So when he does this right here, he's having to use this to stabilize, right? Go ahead and do a couple reps for us, nice and slow and controlled. Tight through his glutes, tight through here. I would test it by trying to get my hand in through there, right? Okay, so he's stable. This is what we want. He's using this to stabilize. But if he wasn't using this to stabilize, that left shoulder blade would probably pop off the bench, or this would arch through here. So he'll do a couple incorrect so you can see it, drop it down, oh boom, shoulder comes off the bench. He'll do a couple more like that. So we see a lot of lack of stability, right? We see the body's rotating. Well, he doesn't want it to, but it is anyways, because he's not activating through here. So obviously we want to make sure he's nice and stable when he does that. So that's a way to upper press, but attacking rotational stability. So now we'll get him to his feet. We'll go ahead and talk about a lower press real quick. So he'll face you guys, no dumbbell, we'll put on the ground. We'll face the camera, he's going to do a 1-legged squat, right? We've all done 2-legged squats, let's go on this side. We've all done 2-legged squats before, right? Very little rotational stability is addressed on a 2-legged squat, a lot on a 1 leg. He'll stand on 1 leg, he'll squat nice and slow, keeping everything facing the camera so nothing's rotating and turning, right? Hips aren't rotating, feet aren't rotating, it all stays straight ahead, right? Nice and stable because he's using this to stabilize and not rotate. So if he rotates, it's going to look like this. He drops it down, we see his hips rotate. Sometimes that's because of tightness in the hips or lack of rotational stability. So 1-legged squat, go ahead and do one more correctly so we can see it. Straight down, no rotating through the lower extremities, right? Just as tall facing you. So that's a way to do a lower press addressing rotational stability. So now let's go ahead and go to a lower pull. So think deadlifts, think RDLs. He'll grab his dumbbell, he'll get right in front of the bench right here so you guys can see him. He's on 1 leg, and he's going to have 1 dumbbell in the other arm. So we're going to call this contralateral, just means 1 leg's working, the grounded leg, 1 arm's holding the dumbbell, okay? As he does it, go ahead and do a couple RDLs for us. Single leg deadlift. Notice that his hips, torso, upper body, we want to keep it parallel to the ground. We don't want to turn and rotate in any fashion. So he's got to make sure he's really tight through here and squeezing this glute on that side, right? Go ahead and do 1 more and just pull yourself all the way up. Stabilizing, not rotating, coming back up. So let's go ahead and do that and now lose control. Drop it down, and now he can't stabilize. He's going to go and over-rotate and drop down because he's not engaging through here, here, and here like we've been talking about to prevent that rotation. So switch hands now. We'll do it ipsilateral, so same arm, same leg. He'll show you how to do it correctly real quick. Watch him go down. He's got to make sure his whole right side stays parallel because that way he's engaging through here, here, and here. Once again, so he doesn't rotate. Remember, shoulder blades, glutes, midsection. Go ahead and do another one. He's activating all 3 areas that we've been talking about through here. And now he'll show you one where he rotates too much because he's not stable. Go ahead and drop it down. And we see that rotation, right? We want to prevent that. It's anti-rotation. When we're anti-rotating, we're activating those 3 areas we've talked about, working on rotational stability. Go ahead and do one more correct for us just so we can see it, everything nice and close. He engages through his left leg, comes back up. Okay, So that's addressing lower pull. Lastly, we'll address upper pull, like rows, and he'll do that in the same position, because we've all done both feet on the ground, hand on the bench, and we're rowing. That addresses a little bit of rotational stability. But if I take one leg off the ground, now it's a lot of rotational stability. So once again, contralateral, he'll have his left leg down, his right hand holds a dumbbell, he'll go down to that RDL position and he'll hold it. We just talked about how this is addressing rotational stability. Now he'll do rows out of here. He'll engage through that shoulder blade, squeeze in a row. So as this arm is rowing, we don't want to see any movement down through here. If I see no movement, it means he's stabilizing. It's not easy, that's why he's going to wobble a little bit, right? So he's having to stabilize those 3 areas, okay? Now show other hand, sorry, we'll ipsilateral once again. Same arm, same leg. We'll watch that right side and try to keep it close to the ground. Go ahead and drop down. And he's rowing for us, squeezing back through here. Remember, if this right side had opened up at all, go ahead and just let it open up the right side. Yeah, kind of rotate. So obviously he can't stabilize because he's not using everything to prevent that rotation, right? Good, go ahead and relax for a second. Beautiful, thank you. So the whole idea, once again, is kind of anti-rotation. We just talked about it. But now we're taking it and applying it to strength lifts. So important because so much of training doesn't address that. It's just using 2 arms together, using 2 feet together. When we go unilateral, we can address that rotation, right? Get stronger in that rotational plane of motion, you're going to be a stronger athlete overall. Thanks for tuning in.